In the last video of building the 22B, we got the roof off, we got this thing stripped down, and we got it ready to start stripping before we start primering, seam sealing, and painting this car. So what the major focus in this video is gonna be is stripping the car similar to how we did the RX-7. There's gonna be a lot of wire wheeling, there's gonna be a lot of stripper disking, and it's pretty much getting all the old undercoat off, getting all the old paint off, and getting all the old nasty rust out of here so that way we can save this chassis. But before we do any of that, the first thing that we need to do is actually fill all of the spot welds that we drilled out when we took the roof off. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab our MIG welder, just get to town, and let's start knocking this out. I did actually take the time to count, and there is exactly 113 of these spot welds that we drilled out that I have to go back through and refill. So this was an all-day endeavor, unfortunately, of just filling spot welds. I mean, 113 of them, it's gonna take some time to go through there because you gotta let the panel cool. If you're welding too long on it, you're gonna warp the panel, you're gonna start blowing through it. So you gotta do this in small segments. Pretty much all of the holes on the roof are welded up. There's one or two left that I still have to do, but I'm gonna wait to do those because I have to bend some metal back out. So I'm just not gonna mess with them right now. I think today I just wanna focus on stripping the car down some more. I actually made a lot of progress yesterday in between welding that I did off camera that I wanna show you guys, especially to the bondoed area of the car because that was pretty gnarly to say the least. So I already went ahead, filled out these two holes for the antenna. I have to cut out a piece of metal to put in here to do that one, and then we can tack weld that up, get it all done, get the welds ground down, put some glazing putty on that, smooth that out. Same with this, smooth this stuff out as well. Coming up on the roof rail, I've got all of the major holes filled. I've also done a couple like small reinforcement welds to these braces that run across. Same with this guy here. Probably didn't need to, but I did it anyways. Just, I don't know why I did it, to be honest. I just did it. So all of the holes for the roof are pretty much welded up at this point. They just need to be ground down smooth. They don't need to look perfect because the roof is going to cover it up. The roof rails, everything's going to cover it up. We just need them to be, for the most part, flush and filled, which they are. This is an area we can talk about because that's interesting. I don't know how much farther the Bondo goes forward. We can find out today, but yeah, I just started like grinding all this down. Like I got all this down to bare metal and a whole bunch of other areas of the car, but this just, it doesn't matter too much because it's all getting cut out for our wide body kit, which I just emailed the company. I don't know, it said in stock when I ordered it. I ordered it a couple weeks ago, so I'm hoping that it shows up any day now, but the wide body is going to cover pretty much all of this up, which will be mint, but I can't really start doing a lot of the bodywork stuff until we get the wide body in. So it is what it is. I want to get this thing painted this month because with temperatures decreasing soon, it's going to be much more difficult to paint all this when it's cold versus when it's warm outside. So it is what it is. So in the meantime, we're just going to continue stripping everything. As you guys can see, I've got this quarter panel or this pillar all stripped down as well, down to bare metal. So I haven't stripped anything down to bare metal before like this. So this is definitely a little bit interesting for me. I want to keep going on getting the rest of the car kind of stripped down to bare metal. We're going to do up here. We're going to do literally everywhere we can. I want to put a heavy focus on the engine bay today as well. This, I'm probably going to have to use a wire wheel for a lot of it to strip most of it down. Hopefully try to get to some of the undercoating today too, but for now, let's actually just start and focus on the engine bay and start stripping this down. I apologize right now for all the time lapse, but there's gonna be a decent amount of it because this stuff, it's so time consuming to do this, but that's all right. We have to do it. So let's just get it out the way and done with. So I started out by using a lot of stripper discs and wire wheels and a die grinder and anything else I could find to start stripping the engine bay, and I realized it just wasn't working that well. So I grabbed some aircraft stripper, tossed that on there, and while it was soaking, decided to start stripping some of the undercoat, because I know that the undercoat underneath the car is going to take the longest, and it's also the most back-breaking work because you have to keep your hands pretty much above your head the entire time. The best way that I found to do it is by using a multi-tool with a scraper blade on it. The oscillating feature on there will allow you to peel off a lot of these strips in gigantic chunks. And then afterwards you can go back through with the wire wheel and kind of clean up the remnants and leftovers. Now this doesn't work on everything. If the undercoat is thick enough, it will work great. If it is too thin, it will not work, and you will have to use a wire wheel to get all of that stuff off. But it's a good starting point to start ripping a lot of the undercoat out. I put some aircraft stripper on the engine bay stuff, and I've been letting that sit for literal hours and it's doing nothing. So while I was waiting for the aircraft stripper to hopefully do something, I have been stripping undercoat off the wheel wells, underneath the car. I just kind of jumped into it. Wow, this lens is dirty, hang on. It's so filthy, oh my God. I jumped to stripping undercoat, I'm covered in this stuff and it's all over the floor. The best way I found to start removing it is by using a multi-tool with a scraper blade to get some of the thick stuff off, and then from there jump over to a wire wheel. Now the oscillating tool really only works on flat surfaces, so the wire wheel's been going pretty good. I have most of it off. I am giving myself 1 week from today, and today is Friday, to get all of this stripped because I want to be painting by next Saturday. I want to be painting the chassis, I want to get the undercoating on, I want to get as much as I can, because while we don't have the wide body yet, and let's say the wide body doesn't show up yet, if we get the undercoating done, we get the chassis itself painted, we can start doing some reassembly on the car itself. Granted, when I say chassis painted, I'm only talking about engine bay and interior, and then undercoating the bottom side, because we can't actually start painting the exterior until the wide body comes in, because we need to mold that on here to get things going. But in the meantime, we can get the engine bay done, the interior done. We'll probably paint both of those at the same time. Exterior wise, we'll probably do most of that at the same time, because it's a pearl paint. I think I need to paint all of that all at once. I'm not a professional painter, so you guys can definitely tell me in the comments if it's better, because if you watch the RX-7 series, you'll know I did that in chunks as I painted the car, and the color match is perfect on it. But with the pearl paint, it's a little bit different, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more research, but let me kind of show you how far I've gotten on this. This takes a lot of time. So I've started on the wheel wells here, getting a lot of the undercoating off. You can see the patches that I still gotta hit. This aircraft stripper literally isn't doing anything, so I think I'm just gonna have to do it all by hand, which is whatever. This side is coming along as well, and then on the bottom side of the car, there's actually a lot more done than I thought I had got done, so that's actually pretty neat. This is probably one of the most time-consuming things, is getting rid of all of the old undercoat. I think I can get it all done by tomorrow if I allocate today and tomorrow to do this, so I'm gonna keep going for a little bit longer tonight. My arms are getting so tired from holding the grinders and everything upright and above my head as I'm doing this. I don't know how far I'm gonna get. So we'll see how far I can actually get tonight. I'd like to get at least the wheel wells done, but we'll see. So I'm gonna toss you guys back on time lapse. Like I said, I didn't show any of this on the RX-7 just for the sheer fact of how boring it is, but I think it's a good thing for you guys to see if you guys are planning on DIYing a lot of this. So back to the good old grinder with the thick old wire wheel, and let's get to wire wheeling. We're just out here stripping away. I got tired of holding the grinder above my head, so I jumped up to doing the engine bay, stripping this. So the game plan for getting this thing ready is try to finish the engine bay today, knock out the rest of the undercoat tomorrow, jump to interior Tuesday and Wednesday, do cleanup on Thursday, Friday. No, Friday will be prep. Primer Saturday, seam seal Sunday, paint Monday. And for paint, it'll be engine bay, interior, undercoat bottom side. Exterior wise, I can't really do much to the car exterior wise until the wide body comes in, but it's a lot of stripping. I'm doing this different than how I did it on the RX-7. If you watch the RX-7 series, you'll know I stripped it in chunks. I stripped the underside, undercoated it. Stripped the engine bay, painted it. Stripped the interior, painted it. This time around, I'm doing all the stripping at once and then doing all the primering at once and then doing all of the painting at once for at least the engine bay, the interior, and then we'll undercoat also at the same time. So it's just a lot of stripping, and this is realistically, in my opinion, the worst part about doing this is just stripping. I tried chemical stripper and it just wasn't doing that good of a job. The best things I found are stripper discs and wire wheels. Those have been doing like wonders. So we're just gonna keep going on the engine bay. Like I said, I left a lot of this out on the RX-7 and I didn't, it's hard to really like visualize the amount of like prep that goes into doing this. It's literally like a week straight of stripping and grinding and wire wheeling and cleaning and just prepping the chassis. But in the long term, this is what's gonna keep the car alive for another 30, 40 years, something along those lines, because while we're in here, we're finding all of that rust, especially under all that undercoating that I'm taking out. There are hidden pockets of rust. Like, you might think your car is rust free up until you take undercoating off, and then you will find pockets of rust in areas. So this will 100%, just like the RX-7, this will 100% truly be a rust-free car after it is done. So let's get back. All right, let's get back to stripping the engine bay some more. Let's just get the engine bay done with. I just want to get done with. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. Tanner, why not just acid dip the car? Or why not just send it off to media blasting? Or why not get the crazy laser people to shoot lasers at it? Well, I'll tell you. Chemical dipping, the one place I found that could do it is about 5 hours away, and they charge about $5,000 with no real lead time. As for sandblasting, I can't find anybody local who has a sandblasting booth big enough to be able to fit a chassis into to be able to sandblast something like this. And the laser removal guys, they are expensive, $175 an hour, and he told me it would take about 40 to 50 hours. I'm just not gonna pay that. That's absolutely absurd. I would rather spend a week of my life with this wire wheel getting to really know this chassis. You know what I mean? It's like a first date. We're getting to know each other. However, while I've been going on all this all by myself, we got the cavalry. We got a group. We got a team. We are a team today. My buddy David, Levi, and his lady all came to help. Jordan was just knocking out a whole bunch of the sound deadening removal. David was knocking out the engine bay. Levi and I were knocking out some of the interior stuff, and it just started going so much quicker. So I cannot thank them enough for coming to help. Like, you guys have no idea how much time this actually saved having so many people working on the chassis all at once. A lot more stripped down. We have cavalry today. We've got Levi, David, and Jordy all helping, which is making this go way quicker. So we actually might be able to primer the car sooner if we can get through all of this. The interior, Jordy's been going through and removing. I know people always ask who Levi is. Okay, hang on, quick intro. Levi, come here. Levi is a buddy who lived in Texas. Started as a subscriber, he's still a subscriber, but we started talking. He's got a really cool STI. He might ship it up here. I've been trying to talk him into it. It's on a Haltech rotated that we are going to try to fix if he actually brings it up or not. So that's Levi, the buddy from Texas. This is Jordy, his lady from Texas. She takes care of emus. And then David, a lot of you probably already know David, subscriber, been around the channel a very long time, in the Discord often with us. So everyone, he came all the way from California, David did. He came all the way from Texas, and she came all the way from Texas specifically to help strip the Subaru. It's actually not true, but they're helping, and it's making life go way easier. So let me show you guys kind of where we're at and what's left. There's honestly not much left to go. We're probably realistically like 70% of the way there. Engine bay wise, David's been focusing up here. I spent a lot of time yesterday getting a lot of the big stuff. He's been going through all the nooks and crannies, like down here by the radiator support, up on the front, up in here, all these areas, kind of working the engine bay. While he's been doing that, Jordy's been going through and removing the sound deadening with the oscillating tool for anything that's left like over there. She got all of it out of the trunk and all of that stuff. Levi and I have been going through and wire wheeling, starting in the interior. He's been kind of focusing on this area here. I've been getting rid of a lot of the sound deadening here. We still have the entire back seat to go, the trunk to go, and we've been starting on the rear wheel wells, which is kind of where we're at right now. So we're getting through this surprisingly pretty quickly. Once we get all of this stripped, primered, the seam sealer showed up today, and painted, we can actually start reassembling the interior, cleaning up the transmission, getting the drivetrain in, all that. I bought some STI aluminum front control arms. I'm trying to focus on the suspension stuff right now to get this thing into a rolling car after it's painted. So the primary things that we are ordering is all gonna be suspension and transmission and drivetrain related to get all that in the car. So more stripping. More stripping. We're gonna do more stripping.
So much fun.
I'll update you guys in a little bit. So at the end of day 4, we've got the underside 60% of the way done. Rear wheel wells are pretty much done. Engine bay is almost done. Interior is probably 50% done. So I think we should actually be able to finish stripping the entire car potentially by tomorrow, if not halfway through Wednesday or Wednesday, which means we could start primering this thing as early as Friday. But this video is stripping. This is not the most exciting video we've made, but like I said, I did not film any of this on the RX-7, and it's an important thing to see. A lot of stripping. We are on the morning of day 5 of stripping now. I think today it's gonna be me for quite a while, and then David's gonna show up. I only got till about 3:30 today to get stripping, so I guess I'm just gonna focus on the underside of the car, try to get the bottom side done. If we can knock out the bottom side, the engine bay is like 90% done. It's just some of the little cracks and crevices left. Once that's done, it's just the interior, and I think this is the last day I'm going to film doing this, because honestly, it's so, as I'm editing this video, it's just time lapse after time lapse and voiceover and time lapse, and it's not the most exciting. So this will probably be the last afternoon of filming doing this, but you know, I mean, it's a good thing to show you guys, I guess. But all right, while I wait for David, I'm gonna go ahead and just start stripping more undercoat off the back side of the car and start working my way forward. That's where I'm calling it on this video, you guys. I'm gonna show you how far we got. The car is actually almost ready for primer. The big focus on the car at this point just needs to really be cleaning up the engine bay, cleaning up a couple spots on the bottom, and the interior. The interior, I'd say, probably needs the most work out of anything right now, but let me show you, because in this video we have made so much progress on the 22B build. To David out there, soaking up the sunshine. He's getting in his photosynthesis today. Remember when we started this, where we kind of left off was taking the roof off the car. We started out by filling up all of the holes going along all of the roof channels for where the spot welds were. They still need to be ground down smooth, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm more focused on getting everything just kind of stripped down. Engine bay wise, the left-hand side of the engine bay is pretty much done. Like, David came in here and absolutely killed all of this. The two little corners back there still need to be knocked out, but we just got a tool to be able to reach down there and get that stuff a lot easier. The right side still needs some touch up, but at this point it's literally just touch up, just cleaning up a lot of the small spots that still have paint, rust, primer, that kind of stuff still in them. But engine bay wise, you guys can see like that is pretty freaking stripped from where we started. On the and the cowl is pretty much done too. Still have the inside of the cowl, but that'll probably just rough up and just shoot primer in there just to keep it protected. I actually just might put that Pour 15 in here, or that Eastwood rust encapsulator there. Interior wise, we still have a ways to go. This is probably what needs the most love next. We kind of have these two middle panels done with. All of the sound deadening is now out, so all of this just needs to be hit with a stripper disc to take it down to metal and primer and get all of like that old undercoating, sound deadening crap out of here. Same with the trunk. So it's gonna have to be the entire interior as well as these upper roof pieces, because we are gonna paint these to match the interior. Even though you won't see them, it's still something that we're gonna do. On the underside of the car, you guys can see we made an absolute ton of progress. The wheel wells themselves are pretty much done. They just need some cleanup as well as this like front portion needs done. Trans tunnel completely done there. This wheel well, same thing, all stripped of the old undercoating. Trans tunnel, I went through, and this was my heavy focus today, was just getting it all done. So everything in here trans tunnel wise is done. All of the old stuff is out and ready for primer after it's cleaned. Back here near the spare tire well, this just needs some cleanup, and there is still a little bit left here and there, like you guys can see right there. But there's only mentally so much of this you can do at once before you're like, I need to stop for a while, I need to take a break, and I need to come back the next day. So both rear wheel wells pretty much done. Like I said, they just need a little bit of touch up in spots like this, but overall I'd say the car is realistically probably 85% done being stripped. We're gonna end this video. This video is already like 20 minutes long, and it's already so much stripping. Like I said, I didn't show you guys literally any of this on the RX-7 because it was just so time consuming. But for a lot of you guys out there who want to DIY and do this stuff like we do, it's a good realistic way to show you like this is what takes the most time in these builds. It's the least amount of fun, and it takes the most amount of time, is stripping the chassis and prepping the chassis for primer, paint, seam sealer, all of that. Because like I said, this is when you're gonna find all that rust. This is when you're gonna repair, remove, and clean up that rust, clean up any body deficiencies that you have. Like I found a couple holes. There's one right here that goes from the belly pan up into the car, so we're gonna have to tack weld that stuff shut. I mean, yes, the new undercoat that we're gonna put on will probably seal that up, but still, while we're there, we're gonna tack weld up the holes that I am finding. There's another one right there, another one right there. So there's a couple small holes that go from the bottom side of the car into the car. It's a good opportunity to fix them, tack weld them back up, get everything ready to go, undercoat it all, and just get it fixed. So with that, that is all I've got for you guys on this one. If you're hyped for the 22B and the amount of progress that we made, because this is the most amount of progress that we've done in any video, even stripping the car down from all of the mechanical stuff, this is the most progress we have made in a singular video. And I will try to get these out on a more frequent note. It's this stuff, this beginning stuff that we're doing just takes so much time that I will try to keep a frequent upload schedule the best of my ability. But with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, sight, and whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be able to put it in one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.